Welcome back. You're still watching Fit Afrique, your hub to all things African football conversations. Now, last week in the Windy City out in Gqeberha, it was Angola that lifted the title of the COSAFA Cup. This was the fourth time that they did so within their history. They defeated Namibia within the final, and it was an emphatic victory. Possibly a defeat that Namibia will want to forget, but for the Angolas, certainly it's them saying that we are back, and we're back within the COSAFA region.
Back in style. It will give me a South African lingo for when you really beat Yes, that's what they did to Namibia.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just 2 goals away from spelling Namibia with the scoreline.
Yeah.
That was just incredible. And we haven't seen a scoreline that big since Zimbabwe in the year 2000 when they beat Lesotho 3-0 at home and they beat them 3-0 away over 2 legs.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, absolutely incredible. I think this is going to be a final that Namibia wants to forget. But one thing that they want to go back and do is watch the match that they played in the group stages against Angola and see what the difference was. From the eye test and from your observations, what was the difference?
They saw red, the numerical advantage, and also Angola were more clinical in the final third. You have players like Vindinho and Keliano that really were explosive in that game. And that was the difference, that their players in the final third were just untouchable, simply unplayable on the day.
Yeah, it was also a really good competition for Comores. For me, even though they didn't win the competition, but they, for me, are the team of the competition. They made it to the semis for the very first time. Certainly, that's an achievement.
Yes, winning the Fair Play Award and their first time ever in the semifinals, a really big achievement. I mean, they took the game to Mozambique 2-2 by the 90th minute, and they lost out on penalties 3-2. Nothing to be ashamed of, really. It happens to the best teams.
Well, it happens to the best of the best. Yes, it may be Angola that walked away with the gold medal around their necks, but it's certainly a gold when it comes to COSAFA because most of the players that were competing for their respective nations are of the age of 23 and younger. Yes, you also saw the likes of over-age players, but it wasn't a host of them. It was a majority of young players, which certainly means that the Confederation of Southern African Football is certainly growing, and as this region, we all can be proud. Talking about one competition going well, the next competition on the cards is certainly going to be the Africa Cup of Nations that is going to take place out in Morocco. It's going to be an interesting one. We know that Côte d'Ivoire are currently the reigning champions, and everyone who plays within the qualifiers will have that in mind. Book your tickets so you can dethrone the elephants. The qualifiers are set to start out in September and they will end in November. But before we finish there, we've got the groupings of who's going to play who in the qualifiers. And let's go through that because that's where it starts. You have to start there, one game at a time.
Côte d'Ivoire have to be dethroned. I didn't like the way you were laughing at me after that fight. Oh,
no, I love Côte d'Ivoire. I even need that kit. That's an iconic kit. That is an iconic kit. But let's take a look at the groupings of Group A for the qualifiers of the Africa Cup of Nations. I know Tunisia is in there. Tunisia being a team that certainly has been to so many African Cup of Nations.
And Tunisia right now are going through a lot in their FA. Their FA is not in order. They have coach Fawzi Benzati as the coach right now, but now there are rumors coming out of Tunisia that they're going to be getting a new president that might actually get a different coach. But Itu, what I wanted to point out to you was the fact that Tunisia have been consistent, and the last time they missed out on the AFCON was in 1992. They're a team that not necessarily do they win it and shine, but they're always there.
We can't say not necessarily. I think that's not the right words. They do not win it.
Yes.
Because the last time they won it was what, 2004?
Yes, but look at what they've been doing in the World Cup qualifiers. It's been them and also the Elephants of Côte d'Ivoire that haven't conceded a goal. They're very good defensively, despite everything that they're going through. Defensively, Tunisia are hard to break down. Even in the African Nations Cup, you saw that South Africa, with all the stars, they struggled to break Tunisia down.
But here's the interesting thing when it comes to these qualifiers. They're grouped in a group that has Comores and Gambia. And I think of the islands that are there, right, more interested for Comoros than Madagascar, right?
Yes.
And I think that's because of the records. Now Comoros come into this one a bit more confident because of their 4th place finish in the COSAFA Cup, but also we know that what they've done in the AFCON before.
Yes, you know how much I love the teams that beats my Ghana, my Ghanaian brothers. Yes, in 2021, Comoros definitely showed the continent what they are made of, and Madagascar, don't write them off, but I think they have an aging side. They're not as explosive as Comoros and the Gambia.
Yeah.
Also, those are teams that are emerging on the continent,
Yeah.
but I'm tipping Tunisia and the Gambia to go through in Group A.
I'm not writing off Comoros. This is a competition that they solely, ever since they become compliant, right, which was what, in the year 2005, I don't think they want to miss out on anything. So I'm going to give it to Comoros to go through. Just quickly, let's talk about the group that Angola's in, because they are high on COSAFA victory.
Yes.
They're in this euphoria mode. Let me know as to what they're going to be doing up against Sudan, Niger, and the Ghanaians.
Yes, okay, I would put it like this. Angola, they have so much talent in their ranks. Gilberto is one of my favorite players. They, in the COSAFA Cup, we saw the likes of Depu, who finished the tournament with 5 goals, won the Golden Boots.
Yeah.
Love that player. For me, Angola, and well, yeah, maybe I will give the second spot to Ghana. Yeah, the Black Stars.
Well, we will have to wait and see of these 48 nations. As the weeks go by, we will get you the know-how as to who has been pitted into which group and who has a better advantage of making it and securing their ticket all the way to Morocco. Go nowhere. When we come back, is that part of the show, besties, that you want to call your friends, because we talk all things women's football and we answer the trivia question that we asked you about Angola.